This is Conversations with a Citizen. I am your host, Tia Carol Jones. I'm here today with Vershawn Sanders-Ward, founding artistic director and CEO of Red Clay Dance Company. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
So excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, and I am a Chicagoan. Grew up here and also a graduate of Columbia College Chicago, so went to school locally and also trained in dance in New York City at NYU Tisch. And yeah, you know, I'm a passionate artivist. That's the word I use to describe my work, art and artivism, or art and activism, I should say. And I love Chicago. I love Chicago artists. I feel like we have some of the best artists in the world, and I'm always honored to represent this city through my art. And so yeah, and I'm a Southside girl.
What led you to create Red Clay Dance Company?
So I definitely felt like there was a space for my dance and my passion around art and activism in Chicago. This city, you know, has a rich history and background in activism, and definitely in artists, you know, Gwendolyn Brooks and just so many artists that have come from this city. So dance is something that I love to do. I've done it since I was a child, and you know, pursued it in higher education. And in thinking about how I wanted my legacy and my art to live on, I wanted to make sure that it was rooted here in Chicago. And yeah, it's the arts, I think, are the gateway to our humanity. It's a way that we express ourselves and connect to one another. And dance as a very visceral experience, very spiritual experience, and something that culturally we as Black people, it's just a part of how we move through the world. You know, I feel like we dance in and over and through adversities, challenges, joyous times. So it's definitely a very something that's tied to myself personally, but I think also within my community and my culture, it's definitely a way that we express and connect to one another.
When did you know that dance was something you were passionate about?
It probably wasn't until I got to undergrad. As a child, I did it, and it was fun, and it, you know, gave my mom a break on Saturdays because I was very active. But I took a little time away in high school because I wanted to try some different things, you know, play sports, but I ended up coming back to it my last year. My dance teacher was like, you know, you're really talented. You should take this more seriously. And I had an opportunity to see Alvin Ailey, which we know is one of the prominent dance companies, and I think that was the first time that I, you know, was able to see our stories, our narratives on the stage, and I could see that it was a possible career. I don't think I knew that it was a career option. It was just something that I loved. But seeing those dancers on stage and then being able to see other artists, I then realized, like, I think I could do this. You know, I could be a choreographer, and I can make work that is relevant to my community, to my lived experience, but also amplifies, you know, the culture, the rich culture that we bring to this country and to this soil. So probably around college is when I was like, okay, I'm gonna really do and push forward to pursue my dream and my passion.
You call yourself an artivist. You said it's art and activism. How do you use your gifts, talents, and your platform to make a change in the world?
Well, I think the first step is just the visibility of me as a Black woman, as an artist, so that other young Black, you know, youth can see, like, this is something that's possible. I can start my own organization. I can have a business. So just making it accessible and visible to youth, I think, is activism within itself. but then also the type of work that we put on stage, the artists that we hire, the vendors that we work with, the staff, all of that I think platforms, what we offer to the world and what we bring and continue to bring to any sector, really. And then the stories that we tell. I think the dancers in Red Clay Dance are amazing storytellers. We're truth tellers, so we want to tell the full story, both sides. And yeah, I think just the embodiment of our culture and making it visible to the world is also activism, making sure that our stories are told on our own terms and that we are telling our stories, the fullness of our lives. And I'll just say, speaking to inequities and injustices that we know affect our neighborhoods, that's also something I find is very important to show in our work. And not just the adversities, but how we continue to overcome those adversities, right? So we know historically what the challenges have been, but what are the new innovations and new ways that we are continuing to to rise up and rise above those. That's something else I think is really important to show and for young people to see, because there are always going to be challenges in the world and in your life, but how do you approach those and how do you overcome those and how do you continue to move forward in that work is a part of Artivism, and using dance as a vehicle to express that and to galvanize people around shifting and changing the narrative. Once you see it and you're aware of it, as an artivist, you have a responsibility to do something about it.
What are some of the ways you infuse Black and African culture in dance and movement?
Yes, so, I think it was probably during my studies at Columbia is where I really had the opportunity to train more in traditional West African dance and African diasporic forms like tap and hip hop, capoeira. So understanding that those forms are so much foundational in how dance is seen on the concert stage, on the Broadway stage, and commercial dance. And once I realized that, I'm like, oh, everyone needs to understand this is not, secondary. This is primary. This is the root of all dance for me. So you can't, I believe, consider yourself a dancer without having some knowledge in those areas. So the first thing for me is platforming those forms and making sure that they're seen equally as any other cultural dance form, that our forms are just as important and foundational. And then the other thing, like I was sharing, is that who are the artists and the collaborators that you're working with, making sure that they're given the opportunities. When I think about a stage manager, a lighting designer, a set designer, I want people that know the culture that I'm trying to bring to the stage because they have a shared lived experience. And I think we need to see more Black African American people in those spaces. So we're, working on the stage, but also behind. And it's very important to me that our productions and our staffing resemble the culture that we are trying to platform. Yeah.
How are you celebrating 14 years of Red Clay Dance Company?
Well, I'm learning to take some rest. I believe in that nap ministry. But I think the first thing is just to pause and celebrate that you're still here. It's been a rough couple of years, and so to just to still be present and working and doing this work is something to celebrate. That we are a part of the fabric of Chicago and now the fabric of Woodlawn, being located, on 63rd Street. So just celebrating that we're still here and celebrating that resilience that we've pushed through, and that we continue to push through. But we're looking forward to this 14th season. We have a lot of great performances and events, and we're kicking it all off next Thursday with our Paint the Town Red. It's our annual fundraiser and celebration at the Ivy Room. So that's going to be our kind of kickoff with our village, with our friends, to galvanize around red clay and to continue to support us into the future as they have been the past 14 years. And particularly over the last couple of years, our village has really rallied around us and made sure that we continue to have the resources that we need to support the artists and the young artists that are coming behind us. So celebrating by, acknowledging what we have done, looking forward to the future. And for me, making sure that Red Clay is around for that next young girl that's like, I think I want to be a choreographer. How do I do that? What's that journey? Yeah.
Why is having community in the dance and movement industry so important?
Yeah, I just actually came back from Uganda. I was there for 2 weeks. I was facilitating a dance teacher training program at the National Theater. And one thing that every time, I think I've been able to visit 4 times, dance is community. The way that dance sits inside of their society, it is community. When you dance as a group. You dance with your family. You dance, with your friends. So there's no separation between community and dance and culturally speaking. So, and like I said, we use the term village. Our dancers, our parents, our students, our supporters, they're a village to me, and they are, they're the type of community I want to be around, and the community that I envision as a thriving community. You need art and culture. That's very much a part of it, and it's a way to connect. As human beings, we want to connect with others. That's just natural in the way that we're wired, right? So dance gives that opportunity for us to learn about one another. You learn a lot about seeing how someone moves. It tells you something about their personality, and it's a way to connect to them for just support. We have a lot of people that meet in our dance classes, and then before I know it, they're out having coffee and like, are you going to dance class next week? We need that connection to one another I think more so now than ever. And dance can provide that understanding of another human being on a different level when you just don't have the words, but you can move together.
What is the Academy?
Oh, yes. So our school is a training program for young people ages 8 to 17, and it's specifically designed as a pre-professional training program. So we want young people that are really passionate about dance, have a deep interest in learning more about it, but want to go through a program that will prepare them for college or careers. So we know that everyone is not going to be, a dancer per se professionally, but for those young people that are interested in that sort of training, we want our school to provide that. We work very hard to fundraise for scholarships so that it is accessible for any, young person that has that passion. And we also want to support parents. I can remember as I was transitioning out of high school and figuring out what were my next steps. My mom loves dance, but she wasn't a professional dancer. So how do we mentor and coach parents as to how do you support an artist? What does that look like as a parent to support the dreams of a young person that wants to be an artist? Just like you would, the next Michael Jordan or LeBron James. How do we support our young people that want to pursue dance professionally? And so we want to be a support for parents too, as to how to coach where are opportunities they need to be looking for outside of red clay dance, summer training programs, how to think through choosing a college dance program, how to find an agent, if they're ready to go professional. So the school will provide all of that, or does provide all of that as a support for the family, not just the student, because it's a unit, you know.
Where is the where is the company located, and where can people go to find out more about Red Clay Dance Company?
Yes, we are proudly located at 808 East 63rd Street in Woodlawn, right next to Daly's Restaurant. If you're on the south side, you know about Daly's. So we are right next to Daly's Restaurant. Our website is redclaydance.com. And you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Red Clay Dance is our handle. So please follow us. We want to have you as a part of our village, but that's how they can find us. And you can also just come by. You know, we have an open door. We're welcoming any questions you have about our programs, about our school, about our performances. Definitely stop in and see us. We're right there on 63rd and Cottage Grove.
Okay. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like our audience to know?
Just that we're here as a community resource, as a community partner. So, you know, if there's any organizations that want to partner with a phenomenal dance company, reach out to Red Clay Dance and support us. You know, we need the support of our village, of our community, and our art. And if you can, definitely join us next Thursday. Paint the Town Red. It's going to be so much fun. So come dance with us. And even if you don't dance, just come anyway.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Remember to make plans to join us again next week for Conversations with the Citizen, the place where real news can be